If you go to your phone right now, many of you have heard this before, but if you go to your phone, you click on Z, scroll to the very bottom, it will tell you how many contacts you have in your phone. I've asked so many people before, hey, how big is your database, especially if they're newer in the business, and they say, I think I'm working with, or I have maybe 150 people in my database. Open up their phone, scroll down, they've got 800 contacts in their phone. They're missing out on an opportunity. They're lacking that organization. Hey guys, welcome back to the Doug Edrington podcast. I hope you are ready for a good one today. I want to talk about how we're going to reignite your career. I know so many people that are in so many different places as real estate agents in this industry, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. I've got to do something different. I've got to reignite my career somehow. And I have a feeling there's been a time where you've said the same thing. I know there's been many times throughout my career where I felt stale. It was like, gosh, there's been so many times like where it's like, okay, things are good and I'm bored. Has there ever been a time where you've just been bored in your business and you need the new challenge? I've also been on the other side of things where it's like, man, things are tight. We've had a couple rough months and I've got to kick it into gear. And you're bogged down with all the to-dos and the daily task and the problem solving and the gotta minutes. And you're like, what am I actually doing? Well, today I want to give you 3 solid steps to help guide you down this path to reignite your career, because everybody needs it right now. So let's dive right in. The very first one is get inspired. Get inspired. Realtors are suckers, including me. We are suckers for wanting to beat our competition, and that's not a bad thing. We're very competitive people. We got into an entrepreneurial business, and every single market that every realtor that's listening to this is in, there's some form of stats on your MLS that's going to tell you where you rank. And I got to say, early in my career, I remember striving so hard to be in the top 100. And once I accomplished that, it was like, all right, what's the next mark? 50 seems like it makes sense. How do I become in the top 50? And that was not easy. It took time. And you all know it if you're somewhere in that range. But then it was like, all right, how do we get to the top 25, the top 20, the top 10? Then you're in a real race for competition. And you've got to get inspired somehow. So one of the first tactics that I'd challenge you to think about is get competitive to your competitors. I know that so many of us have said at some point in time, if they can do it, there's no reason I can't do it. Just think of that one realtor right now that comes to mind. You're like, how on earth are they outperforming me right now? I know this person, and you're going to have your judgments, and that's okay because you're keeping it for yourself, but you're trying to get excited right now. How does that person make it? Like, they treat people not very well. They never return anyone phone calls. Like their photos kind of suck. Whatever it may be, you know what's going to drive you. And so I think it's completely healthy to get competitive and think, all right, who's that person you're chasing to beat? So definitely chase that one. The second thing I want you to think about on still getting inspired here, this is the first step, getting inspired, is interview your peers. So many of you right now admire someone in your office or your industry, and you've never met them. You've never spoke to them. You've never asked them a question. You've never challenged them. And I would say that for the majority of the agents out there that are outperforming you, they're in the top couple percent, they're probably willing and open to help you, at least with a conversation. So how about you offer that coffee meeting to them, or you pick up the phone, or maybe it's just the hallway conversation in your own office where you're like, man, I really admire this person. I should ask them, what am I doing wrong? Where could I improve? What do you see from the outside? So I'd really challenge you to interview your peers. It's just, it's also going to, again, open up opportunity, because when they see that you're striving for greatness, when they see that you're asking for help, they're probably going to think about, how can I help this person more? There's been plenty of agents in my career that have come up to me and just been so intrigued and interested about what I'm doing versus what they're doing, and they ask the right questions. And next thing you know, I'm thinking, how can I really help this person? Could I offer them some of our inventory to hold open? Could I maybe even throw them a lead that I may not have time for, or it may not fit my mold, my business, and might be right for them? So just asking those questions can go a long way. Interview your peers. Let's call it a C of number one here of getting expired. Line up a meeting with your broker or team leader. This is the one that is so important. You got to think about, why did you join the brokerage or the team that you joined? And I'm sure there was a major piece of it is, I believe that person who I'm going to go work for can help me become better. But then you get in the business and you don't actually leverage it. You think you know it all. You let your ego get in the way. You're worried that they're going to be upset that you don't know what you're doing. Whatever's in your head, erase it, because those people want to help you tremendously. So I would recommend line up an audit, I guess you could say, for yourself with your superior, your team leader, your broker, and say, hey, don't just walk in and say, hey, I want to be better. What do I do? Actually think through, what am I currently doing now that I would like to see improve? What am I not doing that I'd like to start? And is there anything that I should potentially stop doing that I'm a little scared of that I should have that conversation with? But if you go to that broker or team leader or anything of that nature, it's going to tremendously take you to the next level. Now, let me give you one more bonus here, because I said A, B, and C, but I just thought of a D that I think is so important. And that is, go to real estate conferences. I got to say, over the year, I don't even know how many I've been to in almost 20 years, but from the Association of Realtors to Inman to Tom Ferry to other real estate coaches to your CRM provider probably has a conference, mastermind groups, all of these types of things create massive inspiration. And I challenge you to get out of your comfort zone and say, hey, I'm going to invest in myself, spend a little money to go get inspired. I find, COVID was rough. I found that I didn't go to as many conferences during COVID as all of us could imagine. And I was really hungry for it. I was like, man, I know I go to these conferences and a lot of what I hear I've already heard before, but I can go down the list of notes that I took and I was like, I've heard this before, but when I heard it last time, I wasn't in the right mindset to implement on it, and it was good to hear it again, and now I'm ready. So I really believe you'll have those same experiences if you push through in getting inspired. So that's all number one. Number two, how to reignite your real estate business is going to be wrapped around organized execution. Not just execution, but organized execution. So the first thing I want to ask you is, as simple as this is what CRM are you using? And do you know how to use it? Are you even using one? So many successful agents even I meet on a daily basis, and I come to find out that they're operating just from their phone or a Google or Excel spreadsheet, if that, or even worse, sticky notes. Like, that just scares me. And they're lacking that organized execution. And so if you think through the filter of, if you go to your phone right now, many of you have heard this before, but if you go to your phone, you click on Z, scroll to the very bottom, it will tell you how many contacts you have in your phone. I've asked so many people before, hey, how big is your database, especially if they're newer in the business, and they say, I think I'm working with, or I have maybe 150 people in my database. Open up their phone, scroll down, they've got 800 contacts in their phone. They're missing out on an opportunity. They're lacking that organization. So whatever CRM it is, you could go big and deal with the Boomtown or Follow Up Boss or Commissions Inc., or you could go as small as a favorite one that I found recently that we're using for some other purposes. Get this, it's called the LessAnnoyingCRM.com. Less Annoying CRM. I think that's hilarious. I think it's a great way to spin it off, but it's like $15 a month. If you don't have a CRM, there's a good place to start. But probably the best place is lean on your team or your broker, because I have a feeling they provide one for you too. And if you're not organized, you're probably not one who is likely to want to spend money on organization. So leverage on the resources that you're already invested in. Make sure you have that solid CRM. Now, within the CRM, are you properly organized? Now, every CRM probably offers some form of organization, and in often cases, it's a little too complicated. kind of reflecting back off of the inexpensive CRM I mentioned, less annoying CRM, they are all a bit annoying. They're all great and they all suck at the same time. We all know that. And so, but you've got to figure out, how am I going to be organized within my CRM? Is it as simple as a to-do or a task that you need to make sure every single one of your leads have? Or is it maybe quarterly follow-up? Is it annual follow-up? You've got the birthdays, the home anniversaries, maybe every 6 months you're sending out a CMA to these people to let them know what their home's worth. Maybe they're just good friends and they're your sphere and you're like, I talk to them all the time, but do you actually talk to them about real estate? We're lacking that organization. So if you force yourself to have the tech to support you, it can go a long way. So number 2, how to reignite your real estate career is just organized execution. Now, the third one I think is probably one of the strongest ones, and it's wrapped around accountability. You've got to reignite your career. You're probably feeling alone. And I've been there. I'm sure you have too. This is, again, I've mentioned this in so many of the podcasts here. It's a who, not how mentality, and you need accountability. So my first question is who do you report to on a daily or weekly basis to show your efforts, to show your improvements, to show your ideas, your creativity to take it to the next step? Because when you're trying to reignite your real estate career, you got to think, you've already been ignited once. That's why I'm calling it Reignite. You already have done probably everything that you know how to do, and you're looking for some new ideas, whether it be just improving what you're doing, or it's time to add to the lead sources that you have, or add to the structure of your business, or maybe hire someone, or maybe it's time to make a change and go to work for someone different that has more resources for you. But it's going to come down to who holds you accountable, because the who's really do matter. So I tell you a cheat sheet that I have. We've recently moved, so I need to re-hang it up in my closet. But at my last house, I had on the inside of my closet door in my bedroom, I had a picture, just one of those large sticky notes that you tear off, like massive sticky notes. And at the top it said, this is my Doug's board of directors. Now, when you think board of directors, a lot of people think, okay, that's staff positions. No, this is my board of directors that anytime I have a hard decision to make, these are the people that will hold me accountable the best, and I put them up there. And it has my coach, it has my parents, it has my wife, it has some very important people in my lives that are in the industry and not in the industry that I truly believe can help me. And it used to have Google and YouTube, which it still does, but the newest addition to my board of directors is ChatGPT, believe it or not. It can go beyond just the people you know, but I know that every time I need to make a hard decision or I need to be held accountable, then I'm going to go to my board of directors and ask all of these people, am I doing the best thing? Can you help push me in a certain direction, or can you give me some advice? I'm so confident and a believer in the fact that if you lean on your board of directors, you will improve at a faster pace. You may say, well, I don't have a board of investors. I bet if I had the opportunity to sit down with you, we could create one very quickly that you probably have right underneath your nose. Because the last thing you need to do is be making decisions by yourself. I always follow it up with, when I'm looking at my board of directors, and try to get prepared before I talk to any of them. And I ask myself this as well: what unintended consequences are going to come from the decision that I'm about to make? Because oftentimes I think, hey, I'm about to make a really good decision, and this feels really good. And then if I can take that hat off of excitement and then be a little pessimistic for a minute, just to think through both sides of the decision, what are the unintended consequences that are about to come from the decision I'm about to make? And that might change my trajectory or my path of where I'm going to go. So I just want to challenge you to think through, in reigniting your real estate career, we need to get inspired first. Then we need to have some organized execution. And then on top of that, we need to have the accountability. We need to have the who's in our life that are going to take it to the next level. Now, I'm sure you probably have some other great ideas around reigniting your business. Please comment below. Please let me know what you're thinking. Tell me if any of these help you out, or if you want to have a one-on-one conversation and go deeper. That's what I'm here for. That's why I love doing this show. Thank you for listening. Get out there and reignite your real estate career, and check us out on the next episode. Thanks for listening.